All right, this is part two of, I guess, systematic institutional slavery. So, anyways, as a result of the system, that's when I started doing like these, like Craigslist and like, what is it, Moco Space. Well, Moco Space and Fertomatic came later with the advent of the new type phones. But the chat lines, and like I said, a lot of times I run into people that were corrections officers on the chat lines. And I remember, I've always had a thing for like big, humongous built black men, like 6'5", 300 pounds built. And there was one man that was a correctional. He had a fetish, and like for me, I can talk about fantasies because I like to write erotic things and things like that. But as far as real life, I do not engage in anything like that. And I'm creative. I like to write, so I like fantasies and stuff like that. And because that's, I think, what a lot of us are missing as children. We're told to imagine. When you imagine, you create with your mind. Your thoughts are powerful. Words are powerful. And that's why it's really true, even though you may not be a Bible person, because I'm not religious myself, but it's been said that where two or more are gathered in agreement on one thing, you create a powerful force. And it's true. That's all it takes is you and another person to come up with something and to believe it spiritually and mentally, and it happens. I mean, it's really true. You know, the sad thing is there's the people. This world now is an anti-society where everybody's not focusing on the mental or the spiritual. And anything that has any type of mental or spiritual acumen is um, considered sub-societal. And so, because it's considered sub-societal, it can be labeled, and then there's remedies for that. Those you know, mentally accelerating and spiritually uplifting things. But this man, I'm going to tell you, and I thought it was funny. I kind of laughed at him at first. He was just like, he wants somebody to step on him and kick him. And I was like, why would you want somebody to do something like that? And what it was, he really wanted somebody to be like really a female to really hurt him. And he was a corrections officer in North North Florida somewhere, Cypress, I don't know, somewhere north. And I was like, why would you want somebody to do that to you? And I said, do you have like some kind of complex, maybe because in your job, maybe you're very abusive to people, or you've seen people be so abusive that it's starting to wear on your conscience, and you want to have some of that given back to you. Is that what's really going on? You know? And we had a conversation, and he wasn't very clear on it. And I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of sick, sad people out there. You know. And what I have to say about this man was that at least him, he tried to go about remedying whatever mental or emotional strain was placed on him by the things he saw at his job. He tried remedying them through a chat line, and I think he was probably looking for a lady that just truly enjoy that, and if he had to um, be accommodating for that person in order to enjoy that, he would. And this person, what's scary about this to me is that this person is somebody that's actually owning up to his indiscretions, being honest about the type of work he does and all this, that, and the other. But think about all of those corrections officers and police officers and all this that are not like seeking help, whether it's self remedy help or some type of outlet. They're probably just out there just going batshit crazy. You know what I'm saying? Beating, because that's why I think, and I said this to a probation officer once. I think it's very important because I've come across one person in the probation process that I felt really could use some help, and it was to the point where, and this thing had been going on for 4 years, and I never during that 4 years had a problem with anything or anybody, But this one officer is like immediately he had like an inferiority complex, and it was so scary to me. Like, I mean, it was harsh, you know. And the thing about it, like sometimes being a woman, being attractive and being nice, even though I am the underdog, it's like that makes it even harder on you because people come at you harder because they need to prove that. Like I had one coworker tell me, "Oh, she means nothing to me," and I was like, "Where did that come from? I'm a coworker." You know what I'm saying? Oh, she means absolutely nothing to me. You know, because he wanted to make it clear that he had no affection for me, no kindness towards me, nothing. And he wanted to make that clear. It was not necessary. We're coworkers. That just came out of nowhere. But he wanted to make sure everybody knew. And that's the same kind of mindset that this man had. He wanted to make sure everybody knew that he hated my guts. He thought I was nothing. You know what I'm saying? And it was scary to me. Scary. Okay? Um, and I really do believe in some of the stories when I did interviews with different people. Some of the stories I heard, these people really need to undergo like unbiased psychological evaluation because that's not an easy job. If you're a good person, it's not an easy job because you're gonna see some shit that's really gonna mess you up. And if you're a bad person and you want to be good, it's not an easy job because it's too much stress. You need an evaluation. You need somebody that can stand up to you in a non-biased manner. And if you look at the experiments that were done in our history, the Stanford experiment, then there's experiment about the bear and the basketball court perception. There's quite a few. The five monkeys in a cage. I mean, if you look at the history and the experiments, I mean, there's just no way. That's one job. I don't see how anybody could do it. A good person or a bad person, because if you're good, you're gonna be bad by the time you finish with because there's too many bad people in it. How can you? I mean, that's just ungodly. How can you render control over somebody else's life? You know. So, like I said, it was disturbing that that boy said that, and it's like he just absolutely had no clue. And it's that odd feeling where it's disturbing, but you understand why he doesn't have a clue because that's how the system raised him. That's how the people that he's around have taught him and instructed him. And nobody would ever say anything to the contrary. And what's so scary about that is that, like I said, to me, this was a nice young man. I was happy that this young person was keeping me company while I was working on whatever I was working on via the computer, of course. Just sending a message every now and then. How you doing? Everything's okay. And I was enjoying this person's company. But on the same note, and I'm twice as old, but it's like I've been disabled from being able to, teach and educate because of the situations that I've been through have been like hell. And for me to sit and tell this young man these experiences and tell him in a way that's credible to him, how do I do that? I mean, it's against the status quo, and like I said, I've been called quite a few names because, like I said, today thinking, analytically thinking, and being conscious is considered um, a problem. You know what I'm saying? If you get online and you're just like, hey, what's up? I'm chilling, 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 chilling. Then that's cool. But if you actually introduce some information about yourself, if you actually ask questions about the other person, if you actually take what they say into consideration and actually address things, then that's the problem. So it's you. And Miss Horn, she told us that that's the same situation she was in, and some of the other teachers, that talked to each other were in during the time when I was in school. They were just like, you can't really voice these things. The adults know, but they don't talk about it. And you can't really like say it to the younger people because they don't know anything about it, and it just comes off as crazy, you know. So, and then the adults that are less cognizant, which are most of them now because they've been successfully trained and programmed by the media and the music that they listen to, you know, they're just trying to be cool. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just we no longer have any teachers in our society, any real teachers to look after the soul, the mind, the heart, you know. And it's sad. And I didn't know how to come to that boy with that. Um, I still don't. You know, at first I said, well, let me get your number and I'll tell you, you know, talk to you. But then on the other hard part of me is just like, you know, here I am, and what it probably seems like from his point is I'm just trying to tear down his dreams or trying to cause a problem when there isn't one. But really, I just want to educate. And, you know, of course, he's not looking forward to that, you know. So I try to just, you know, send him a video of at least the Stanford experiment, and maybe he will see from that. But first aid children are gonna say it's like, oh, that's old, you know, but it still goes on today. You know, if you look at social groups, peer interactions, work, it goes on today. And you know, who knows why he contacted me? I mean, maybe, like I said, he thought he was doing a good deed, you know, or whatever. You know, I'm hoping he just wanted some conversation, like I did. Like he had nothing to do, wanted some conversation, and wanted to connect. You know, I don't know. I think it's a sad thing. So I would like to know what other people's opinions are and experiences are. Peace. I'm the last of a dying breed.